I'm going to do a little reading again from this book, Simply A Course in Miracles. It's available on Amazon, author Alao Alani. That's my pen name. I did a little video yesterday about my spiritual journey, and I talked about how when I had this awakening experience, I had just gotten really into Freud and Jung, and it probably had, almost definitely had something to do with my spiritual awakening that happened this summer of '89. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read a few things from Freud, just a few of his quotes, famous quotes, and we can maybe talk about them in light of A Course in Miracles. Keep in mind that A Course in Miracles actually uses a lot of Freudian ideas, but it takes it deeper, right? Freud, he brought a lot of things to the table, but he only went so far with his thinking, at least according to the Course. And obviously he had a lot of teachers, like he had a lot of students like Jung, who later parted ways with him. So that probably tells you something as well. That Freud was like the one that started it. He was like the great granddaddy of psychoanalysis, but it didn't end with him. But you have to acknowledge his genius and what he offered, what he brought to the world. So anyway, Sigmund Freud. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. And I would say, if you look at the manual for teachers, after trust as the characteristics of the teacher or the advanced teacher of God is honesty. Honesty is everything. Trust and honesty. If you can be honest with yourself, then you will go far. The problem is that we almost we tend to hide. We tend to be dishonest and rationalize things ad infinitum, and we make excuses and we rationalize and we justify and we do all these things to not see things about ourselves. Sweep them under the rug, put them in the closet, etc., etc. And until others mirror back to us our shit. And still we don't listen because we don't want to hear it. But anyway, being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Next one. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. So this is a great one. And this is a way of saying, the things the people that you really can't stand, and the things and the situations that are like your biggest nemesis, you will understand later that those were your greatest teachers, those are your greatest blessings. And once you start to understand that, you can accept everything you can start to accept everything that is happening to you, because you know that it is for your good. It is for your greatest and highest good, right? All things work together for the good. It's a line in the Course. It's also in the in the New Testament as well. Next one. Psychoanalysis is in essence a cure through love, right? And that's what the Course is as well. It's a cure through love. You don't think of Freud as talking about love, but he did, right? It's a cure through love. The psychic development of the individual is a short repetition of the course of development of the race. This is like saying that you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are a holographic representation of everything. All you need to do is change your own mind, and everything will change. All you need to do is understand your own mind, examine your own self, and change your mind to accord with the mind of God, which is essentially loving and forgiving and non-judgmental. If you can even use those words, that, Jesus talks about the Holy Spirit. He doesn't talk about God in those respects necessarily, but the Holy Spirit is that awareness, that part of our mind that is in a place of complete non-judgment and a complete acceptance. So each of us is really the whole, right? A microcosm of the macrocosm. Next one. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. So we only see that. That's like saying we see the tip of the iceberg. We only know our conscious mind, which is really the tip of the iceberg, and so much of our mind is submerged. So we cannot see it usually, right? In our everyday mundane 3D awareness, we do not see a lot of stuff going on because we don't need to in order to do stuff in the world. But if we want to know our mind, then there's a lot that we could access that is not in our usual awareness. All right, the next one. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. It's like saying, the voice of the Holy Spirit is the still small voice within yourself, but it is the voice that we tend not to listen to because we listen to the ego's raucous shrieks, what Jesus calls the raucous shrieks of the ego, the loud banging of the ego, the mouse that roared. We don't listen to the soft voice of reason. But that voice has already won and will win us over eventually, because we can only be insane for so long until we decide that we don't want to be insane anymore. So Freud he was right on with all this. If he really said all these things, unexpressed emotions will never die; they are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. So denial and repression do not work. The course is not a course in denial. It's not about denying your feelings. It's not about denying what's going on with you. It's about being honest with what's happening with yourself. If you repress anything, if you deny anything, it will only come back to bite you in the butt later, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to address things in the moment that they're happening and not push them away and not hide from them. Now we will do that, but we want to start to become aware that we're doing that and recognize not only that we're doing that, but we're doing that out of fear, right? And as we do that, the fear, and as we start to address those things, little by little, they lose their power over us. Next one. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exist and are in our subconscious. So this is a great one, and this just parallels what Jesus says in the Course, which is nothing is at random. There are no coincidences. We meet everyone that we're supposed to meet. There's no chance or random things happening in the divine plan that we're all living out. And that's just another way of saying that everything is happening for a reason, and that reason is for our greatest and highest good, to learn what we need to learn in order to return home to love once again, right? To our true self. Nothing happens randomly in this world. God does not play dice with the universe. That was Einstein back there, right? I became aware of my destiny to belong to the critical minority as opposed to the unquestioning majority. And that's what I think the ideal Course in Miracles student is someone who questions, someone who reads and thinks and questions and is not happy with opinions and even if a lot of people are saying the same thing, that person is still going to question and going to think for themselves and question their own beliefs above all else, right? Question your own entrenched belief system and the concepts that drive you and motivate you. So this is a great one too. I became aware of my destiny to belong to the critical minority as opposed to the unquestioning majority. And the last one here is the purpose of psychoanalysis is to make the unconscious conscious. So before he said psychoanalysis is in essence a cure through love. And how do you do that? You make the unconscious conscious, right? The 6/7 of the iceberg that is submerged under the water, you bring that to awareness. As you become aware of what's under the surface, you go deeper and deeper and deeper within yourself, and then you can really address what's going on. And then you can really see that our thoughts and our minds create our reality. And all we need to do is we need to address what's going on within ourselves. If we don't know what's going on within ourselves, within our own mind, within our own psyche, then we will not be able to heal our minds and be the person that we know ourselves to truly be. We'll remain stuck on whatever level we remain stuck. We'll keep repeating the same habits and patterns until we go down deeper, right? Make the unconscious conscious. We get to more and more to the root of the problems, the roots of the problem, or the root. Ultimately, there's only one problem, right, for the Course, and there's only one solution, right? The problem is the problem of separation, or the tiny mad idea of separation, and the solution is separation is impossible, never happened, and so that the apparent separation is really an illusion. It's a dream. And Freud had a lot to say about dreams, but we won't say more right now. We'll just leave it at that. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in. And tomorrow I'm going to do Jung. I'm going to read some quotes from Jung. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.